All right, picture this. It's dinner time. You're juggling boiling pasta, a ringing phone, and a kid doing an Olympic level spill across the kitchen floor. Feels like a three-ring circus, right? And you're a one-man band expected to keep it all together. So what's the secret to not losing your marbles? Hi, I'm Steve, retired search and rescue pilot, callsign Fire Demon. I'm going to share how staying calm under pressure and prioritizing one crisis at a time can save your sanity. This video is part of a series where I spill the beans on the top skills I learned as a pilot that can help everyone in daily life. So stick around. You'll want these tips next time life throws a pie in your face. Now, what I'm about to say might sound as simple as deciding between coffee or tea in the morning, but trust me, it takes a lot of practice to get it right. If you can learn how to prioritize and compartmentalize during critical situations, you can tackle them one at a time and avoid a complete meltdown. Think of it like playing whack-a-mole. Instead of frantically smashing at every problem that pops up, you handle one crisis at a time with a cool head. Now, take a scene straight from the Young Parent Chronicles. It's dinner time, and just as you're about to put a pot on the stove, your toddler spills juice everywhere. Your baby starts crying like they're auditioning for a horror movie, and your phone rings with your boss on the other end, probably ready to add a flaming hoop for you to jump through. Well, your first instinct is probably to try to tackle everything at once, but trust me, that's a one-way ticket to crazy town. Here's where prioritizing comes into play. First, take a deep breath. Seriously, you need it. You need the oxygen for what's next. The juice on the floor? Well, that's just a future sticky mess. It can wait. The baby's crying? Well, that's your immediate priority. Your boss's call? Well, unless it's about you winning the lottery, this time it can go to voicemail for a few minutes. You grab the bottle, feed the baby, and once they're calm, you wipe up the juice. Then you can call back your boss, hopefully with a good excuse ready. See what we did there? By tackling one thing at a time, you avoid the stress of trying to juggle it all. It's like my flying days. We didn't try to fix every problem at once. We prioritized. Handle what needs to be handled right now. Then move on. It's about managing the chaos, not letting it manage you. Now let's bust some myths wide open. Some people think handling a crisis is about multitasking like a superhero, juggling flaming swords while defusing a bomb. Well, spoiler alert, even superheroes have a bad day when they try that. Studies show that multitasking is just your brain pretending to be busy by switching back and forth really fast. It actually slows you down and cranks up the chances of you making just stupid mistakes. So when it comes to managing crises, multitasking is about as helpful as a chocolate teapot. Great in theory, but it's going to make a hell of a mess. Let me give you another example to show you what I mean. This time from my flying days. One time I was on a rescue flight over the mountains. The plan was to climb through the clouds and break out on top to cross the mountains safely. And that was the plan. Sounded easy, right? Well, as I climbed through the clouds, I started picking up ice on the aircraft. At first, I didn't think it was a big issue. Figured the ice would melt away once I broke through the top of the clouds into the sunshine. But then things went from bad to worse. I picked up so much ice that I could barely keep the plane out of the clouds at all. Now, I'm not going to lie, I was scared. I realized this might turn out badly and I could wind up crashing into the top of a remote mountain if I could not keep the plane flying. My mind was racing with all the things that could go wrong, but here's the deal. I knew I had two choices. I could panic or I could use that fear to fuel my thinking and come up with plan A, B, C, and D, because here's the truth. Panic kills. Deliberative action can save your life in any situation you might be in. So I took a deep breath, prioritized, and decided it was time to change tactics. I carefully calculated the angle of the mountain and began a brisk descent, maintaining my distance from the terrain. I broke out of the weather at the bottom of the clouds at about 2,000 feet above the ground, where the temperature thankfully was above freezing and the ice finally fell off and the rest of the flight was uneventful. The takeaway here is clear. Staying calm under pressure and prioritizing one crisis at a time kept me from becoming a permanent part of the landscape. As part of my pilot training, I had an instructor who always told me something from Navy SEAL training. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. The idea is not to panic in a stressful situation, but to take purposeful actions that will lead to the desired outcome. This approach helps with stress management and choosing wisely to promote smoother operations with fewer mistakes. When you take your time to do things right, you often end up doing them faster in the long run. It's about moving deliberately and confidently, even when everything around you is chaos. But staying calm isn't just for flying, it's for everyday life too. I remember this one time in Cambridge, England. I was with my wife and teenage daughter, and we were told by two local police officers to maybe think about getting back to our B&B before dark because people were getting hassled by others looking for money. As we were walking back, I noticed a guy had a couple up against a wall in an alley just ahead. Then he saw us and headed our way, looking aggressive. Look, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. This guy was coming right for us, and I had my wife and teenage daughter with me. I wanted to protect them. I had two choices. I could panic or keep a level head, so I did something unexpected. As he got close, I stuck out my hand and said, "Hey, my name's Steve. Nice to meet you. What's your name?" I caught him off guard. He just stared at me, probably as confused as I was confident. Then he stuck out his hand and he said, "Simon." Well, for the rest of our time in Cambridge, whenever we'd see Simon hassling someone, he'd yell, "Hey, Steve!" So the story shows that sometimes staying calm and making a connection can diffuse a tense situation. It turned a potentially dangerous moment into a memorable story. So how do you stay calm when everything's falling apart? Well, here are a few tricks from my cockpit days that work just as well on the ground. Deep breathing. When things get crazy, focus on your breathing. Slow, deep breaths can help lower your heart rate and clear your mind. Trust me, it's hard to panic when you're focusing on not hyperventilating. Take a deep breath with me right now. Feel that? That's the first step to regaining control. You need a mental checklist. When you're in a tight spot, having a mental checklist can be a lifesaver, just like in the cockpit. You can tick off what needs to be done first, second, and so on. It keeps you focused and prevents you from forgetting something crucial. Visualizing what's going to happen. Before you tackle the problem, take a moment to visualize the steps you'll take. It's like a mental rehearsal that prepares you for action and reduces anxiety. And why is this important? Because trying to handle everything at once leads to burnout, poor decisions, and sometimes makes the situation even worse than it needs to be. By learning to prioritize, you give yourself the mental space to make better choices, reduce your stress, and actually solve the problems at hand. Plus, this skill makes you more resilient. When you know how to prioritize, you're better equipped to handle future crises because you've got a game plan. It's like building a muscle. You get stronger with each repetition. And learning to prioritize doesn't just help in emergencies. It's a skill that applies to everyday life. Whether you're dealing with a work project that's spiraling out of control, a family crisis, or just the madness of daily chores, knowing what to tackle first helps you stay calm and effective. It's about managing your time and energy wisely so you don't end up running on empty. And remember, it's not about avoiding stress altogether. It's about learning how to handle it when it comes. Have you ever been in a situation where it felt like everything was falling apart all at once? Well, maybe you were juggling work, school, and a personal crisis all in the same week. Well, it's in these moments that you really learn the value of prioritizing and staying calm. I want to hear your stories. Have you ever faced a situation where staying calm was your only option? Or maybe you've got some tips of your own on how to keep it all together when everything is going haywire. Share your experiences in the comments. Let's learn from each other and build a community of calm under pressure. I believe in you. I know you have what it takes to handle anything life throws at you. One crisis at a time. Remember that. Staying calm under pressure isn't about being perfect. It's about doing your best in each moment and learning as you go. And if you want to support this Old Guy Insights channel, hey, make sure just to hit the subscribe button, like the video, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of these practical life lessons. If you found this helpful and want to learn more about the other life skills I picked up as a search and rescue pilot, be sure to check out the rest of these videos in this playlist right here. You can find them by clicking right there and watch each one. Each video dives into a different skill that can help you navigate life's ups and downs with a bit more ease and confidence. As I always said to the tower controllers when I departed, see ya!